This is Hoosier Ag Today. I'm Andy Eubank. On Thursday, July 20th, I checked in for a crop update with Jeff Harlow in Tipton County, Indiana. Jeff, first of all, you did get some rain, as did much of the northern half of Indiana, and it rolled through and on into the southern half of the state as well. How much rain did you get? You probably were not in need of any rain at the moment, were you?
We certainly weren't in need. I'd say that we got a tenth or two, and it's been long enough since we've had anything that freshening up from the surface, cooling it down some was certainly not a bad thing. But grateful that it was a moderate rain and not another one of the ground pounders that we've had the entire spring.
Well, you've had, as most Indiana and Midwest farmers have, a very variable, volatile spring and now early summer. Overall, corn and soybeans right now, have they weathered the storms fairly well, in your opinion, or are you struggling in some areas?
For our farm particularly, somehow we live in a little bubble that, relatively speaking to last year, they are without doubt they've struggled. Relative to a short drive north, south, east, west, we are pretty blessed. We have some early corn that again, stand alone in this year. Looking at it, it looks good. I think if you compared it, I don't even wonder if you compared it to last year's look at this point, we wouldn't choose even our best fields over what they looked like last year. But for all that they've endured, I am pleasantly surprised as to how good they look at this point.
Maybe mildly optimistic that you'll get some decent yields by the end of the season?
I say mildly optimistic, yes. Again, relative to trend lines, I don't anticipate trend lines across the board because we have some fields I don't drive by anymore that have just been pretty scarred up. That goes alongside of the fields that are well drained, missed a rain or two, and was planted early and already silking out. So when you average, which you have to, I do not anticipate trendline yields.
And from this point forward, here in the next week, 2, 3, 4 weeks, what kinds of issues are you looking for in your fields as you scout around? Are there any particular pests or disease concerns that you have?
We've already got some diseases working in the corn, and in fact, we have already sprayed fungicide on probably half of our acres, and those were the early acres that were already well along. We probably will not address those issues in the or at least the last third of the crop of corn because they're just too all over the board. We have some replanted corn that frankly looks good if this was the 20th of June instead of the 20th of July. And there is some of the older corn mixed in with it where we've had to replant, and trying to find the sweet spot in timing is an impossibility to catch some of the disease stuff. So I think that fortunately the varieties that we used were maybe a little less, probably didn't require the same kind of attention with potential disease issues, but we already have enough money in those acres, so I'm fairly sure with the struggles of the varied development of the corn, we will not be spraying those.
Do you have a pretty good handle on weeds, in your opinion?
We have an excellent handle on weeds. I feel really good about that. The new technologies are doing super on some of the hard to control stuff that even up to last year, we walked fields, we did everything we could to stay on top, and that was a losing battle. And we're back to the beans actually are an overstate probably to say they're weedless, because you can certainly find some, but they look very good to me from that standpoint.
And that's Jeff Harlow, Tipton, Indiana. We appreciate his update on Thursday, July the 20th, 2017. I'm Andy Eubank. This is Hoosier Ag Today.